Hello there, my name is Kimberly. I like to skateboard, and I like to talk shit, just a little bit, to keep you a little healthy and a little sane. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start off with telling you some skateboard stories. The first one is just a funny anecdote about a doctor referring to me as gangster, which I just think is funny. I think she saw that in me that day, but basically I got a little injured, and I had to find my way from the Bronx into Manhattan with limited help, and I did have crutches at home from last year getting injured at the skate park. It's kind of an annual thing, getting like really banged up from skateboarding. It's an awesome lifestyle, it really is. I'll live long and healthy, I do believe. But she's like, well, if you had crutches, how come you came in from the Bronx all the way to Manhattan with just one crutch? And I said, oh, well, and at that time, like, it was swollen. We called it Frankenstein knee. Um, and she's like, why did you only bring one crutch? Like, that's kind of hard on your hips. And I was like, oh, well, I only brought one crutch in case I needed to fend off an attacker. And she was like, oh, you was gangster. she walked out of the room and then like ordered my x-rays. Nothing was broken, everything was fine. I'm all healed and good to go now. Um, the second story is when I was skateboarding and I just really felt like I wanted to capture the moment and the energy. I liked the background, and I, for some reason, am really like attracted to like the construction cone like vibe and graffiti, and I wanted to use it as a background. So I asked these two black girls if they wouldn't mind taking my picture, and they completely ignore me. They completely act as if I don't exist. Um, and that's how you know you're the hotter female, by the way. And then this other girl comes up out of nowhere, as long as she was sent from heaven, like the divine realm, and she doesn't say like anything, but she's just like calm and divine and angelic in her presence, and like outstandingly beautiful, like the kind of beautiful where you forget how to breathe when you just glance at them one time. I'm pretty sure she was an angel, because she didn't say one word, but she was like so there for me, and just kind of appeared out of nowhere in the middle of like a big crowd crossing the crosswalk. And I jumped up on the little construction cone thing, like the barrier, and she had like really beautiful purple nails, I remember, and she started to take my photos and really supportive and smiling, and I can tell she's like making sure they're good photos. Like, I don't know, she was like that girl who was there for me, like when you felt like everyone, like the other girls were just like being rude on purpose. So that was a big deal, like when a girl steps up like that. And then, right as I'm feeling good again, homeboy, who's wearing a vest, is crossing the crosswalk and sees me having fun, sees her and I having fun, and decides to ruin the moment and says, you know, you would look a lot less of an amateur if you flipped the skateboard around. And I said, oh, you would look a lot less like a try-hard theater kid if you flipped your vest around. Yeah, that shut him up pretty quick, pretty good. And the other little anecdotes that I have to share is about talking shit. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Ex-boyfriend, he wasn't very nice. He wasn't very nice at all, no. In fact, he was very miserable and still is miserable, and he's probably gonna die miserable. And that's who he is in this world. That's his purpose, is to be miserable. And I'm glad I got a chance to be around him, because I will never be like that. But anyway, the whole point of this, bringing him up, is because I was homeless at the time that he and I were dating. He allowed me to live with him for a little bit, which he completely took advantage of. No surprise there. And he grabbed my hand and said, you know, why don't you have your nails done like a real woman? And at that time, I'm homeless, like I said, right? I didn't have the means to keep that up, and to, you know, that's something that needs to be kept, and like that's maintenance. And at that time, I was more worried about getting a meal every day, and because he wasn't feeding me enough either. But it's fine, it's cool. He's his own problem. And then he's like trying to make me feel bad. And at that time, I'm just like worried about trying to get a job, trying to get a place of my own. And he's over here telling me that I'm not enough of a woman because my nails don't have nail polish on them. And I was like, that's funny. You live in an apartment and you're telling me I'm not a woman because my nails aren't polished? Why don't you live in a house like a real man? Yeah. So there's a little back and forth there. There's a little touche. And then the last little bit I have is the best part of the whole story. He actually left me for another woman who was a stripper. And I'm like, okay, granted, she's beautiful, very talented on the pole, very good technique, but really, that's gonna age with time. And I have amazing technique with my mouth. And that's not gonna age with time. In fact, I can get dentures, bitch. You're gonna age, and that pole ain't gonna like your vibes and your dance moves in the least. So you chose a technique with the pole when you could have had a lifetime of pleasure with technique in my mouth. But you choose, buddy. Up to you. And that's all I got for you. Thank you so much, New York. My name's Kimberly.